In 1981, Stephen Callahan, a 29-year-old sailor from the United States, embarked on a solo journey across the Atlantic Ocean. He had built his small boat, the Napoleon Solo, with his own hands and was confident in his ability to navigate the open seas. His journey started smoothly as he departed the Canary Islands, heading toward the Caribbean. However, just 7 days into the trip, disaster struck. One night, while Callahan was asleep, a violent storm rocked his vessel. He woke up to the sound of rushing water and quickly realized his boat had been punctured, likely by a whale or another large marine animal. Within moments, the Napoleon Solo was sinking. Callahan had no choice but to abandon ship. He scrambled to grab a few supplies, including a survival kit, and climbed into an inflatable life raft. Drifting alone in the Atlantic, Callahan faced an overwhelming set of challenges. His raft, barely large enough to lie down in, was his only protection against the elements. The survival kit contained basic tools, but his food and water supply were limited. Despite the bleak circumstances, Callahan was determined to survive. He used a small spear gun to catch fish, a skill that proved to be his lifeline. On some days, fish were abundant, but on others, he went hungry. Callahan also had a solar still, a device that helped him collect fresh water from seawater. Though its yield was meager, he rationed carefully, knowing that his supplies needed to last indefinitely. The physical hardships were immense. Callahan was exposed to the scorching sun during the day and chilling winds at night. His skin became blistered, his body weakened, and dehydration constantly loomed as a threat. Sharks frequently circled his raft, bumping it at times and reminding him of his precarious situation. Mental resilience played a critical role in his survival. Callahan kept his spirits up by focusing on small victories, like catching a fish or collecting a small amount of rainwater. He also recorded his experience in a makeshift journal, sketching designs and writing notes to keep his mind engaged. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months. Callahan drifted westward, carried by ocean currents. Despite the vast expanse of water, no ships appeared to rescue him. At one point, a passing vessel came close enough that Callahan could see its lights, but it failed to notice his distress signals. After 76 harrowing days adrift, Callahan's ordeal came to an end when fishermen off the coast of the Caribbean spotted him. Emaciated and weak, he had lost a third of his body weight and was covered in sores. Yet he was alive. His remarkable survival was a testament to his ingenuity, resilience, and determination. Callahan's story became widely known after he detailed his experience in his book, Adrift: 76 Days Lost at Sea. His account not only highlights the physical and mental toll of being lost in the ocean, but also serves as an inspiring tale of human endurance. His survival techniques, particularly his use of limited resources and his ability to adapt to extreme circumstances, have since been studied by survival experts. Stephen Callahan's journey is more than just a story of survival. It is a reminder of the indomitable human spirit and the will to endure against all odds. To this day, his experience stands as one of the most incredible tales of being lost at sea. In 1971, the Robertson family, a British group of 6, set sail on an adventure that would become one of the most harrowing survival stories of the 20th century. Dougal Robertson, a retired dairy farmer, his wife Lynn, and their 4 children, Douglas, Anne, Neil, and the youngest, Robin, were aboard their schooner, Lucette, as they embarked on a voyage around the world. What started as a dream journey soon turned into a nightmare of survival in the vast Pacific Ocean. The Robertsons had been at sea for over a year, making their way from port to port, enjoying the adventure and challenges of oceanic life. On January 27, 1971, they left the Galapagos Islands, heading toward the South Pacific. Just 6 weeks into this leg of their journey, tragedy struck. On the morning of June 15, as the Lucette glided through calm waters, the family noticed a pod of killer whales nearby. At first, The sight was thrilling. However, the excitement quickly turned to terror when the whales began ramming the boat. Their powerful strikes breached the hull of the schooner, and within minutes, the vessel began to sink. The family barely had time to react. Grabbing a few supplies, a first aid kit, a knife, some survival manuals, and what little food they could salvage, they abandoned the sinking Lucette and climbed into a small inflatable life raft, nicknamed the Edna Mare. Accompanying the raft was a smaller, solid dinghy they called the Avon. Adrift in the Pacific, the family faced overwhelming challenges. They had only a few days' worth of food and water. Dougal quickly realized that survival would depend on ingenuity and discipline. Lynn rationed the limited food supplies, ensuring each family member received a meager portion. Rainwater, when it came, was collected in makeshift containers, but it was never enough to stave off the constant threat of dehydration. The family relied heavily on fishing for sustenance. Using makeshift tools and their bare hands, they managed to catch small fish, which were eaten raw. At times, they also hunted turtles, which provided both food and precious drinking water extracted from their flesh. Physical exhaustion and the unforgiving environment took a toll. Blistering sun during the day, frigid nights, and the constant salt spray left the family weakened and in pain. Despite the hardships, Dougal kept his family's spirits up by focusing on survival strategies and maintaining hope. The ordeal tested their unity. The children, despite their young ages, contributed to their survival efforts. Douglas, the eldest son, showed remarkable bravery and took charge of tasks like fishing and securing the rafts. Lynn, as the family's matriarch, provided emotional strength, comforting her children and encouraging them to stay hopeful. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into over a month. The family endured 38 days adrift, their survival hanging by a thread. On July 23, 1971, their prayers were finally answered when a Japanese fishing boat spotted their rafts. Emaciated, weak, and severely sunburned, the Robertsons were brought aboard and taken to safety. The family's story captivated the world. Dougal Robertson later chronicled their ordeal in his book, Survive the Savage Sea, offering an in-depth account of their incredible resilience and the survival techniques that kept them alive. The Robertsons became symbols of courage and ingenuity in the face of insurmountable odds. Their tale serves as a powerful reminder of the strength of the human spirit and the importance of teamwork and resourcefulness in dire situations. To this day, the Robertson family shipwreck remains one of the most extraordinary survival stories ever recorded. In 1942, during the height of World War II, Poon Lim, a Chinese sailor, embarked on what would become one of the most extraordinary tales of survival ever recorded. Serving as a steward on the British merchant ship SS Ben Lomond, Poon's life was forever changed when his ship was torpedoed by a German U-boat in the South Atlantic. The SS Ben Lomond sank rapidly, leaving Poon and a few crew members clinging to debris in the open ocean. The other survivors quickly succumbed to exhaustion or drowned, leaving Poon alone. By a stroke of luck, he found a wooden raft stocked with minimal emergency supplies, including some biscuits, water, flares, and a flashlight. It would be his lifeline for the next 133 harrowing days. Drifting in the vastness of the Atlantic Ocean, Poon's ordeal tested his ingenuity and will to survive. The initial supplies lasted only a short time, forcing him to adapt to his harsh environment. Using nails from the raft's wooden boards, Poon fashioned a makeshift fish hook. He caught fish with remarkable skill, sometimes using small chunks of biscuit as bait. To supplement his meager diet, he captured seagulls and drank their blood to stave off dehydration. One of the biggest challenges Poon faced was finding drinking water. Though occasional rainstorms provided relief, the scarcity of fresh water was a constant threat. To conserve energy and avoid dehydration, Poon limited his movements and devised ways to collect rainwater using canvas and other materials from the raft. The open ocean presented dangers beyond hunger and thirst. Sharks frequently circled the raft, drawn by the fish Poon caught. On one occasion, a shark attacked the raft, and Poon fought it off with a makeshift club, narrowly avoiding disaster. Isolation weighed heavily on Poon's mind. With no human contact for months, he faced intense loneliness. To maintain his sanity, he kept track of time by tying knots in a rope and developed a routine to stay focused on survival. His mental resilience was as crucial to his endurance as his physical ingenuity. Throughout his journey, Poon encountered signs of potential rescue. Passing ships and planes came tantalizingly close but failed to notice him. Despite these crushing disappointments, he never lost hope. His determination to survive remained unshaken, even as his body weakened. After 133 days adrift, and having traveled more than 1,000 miles, Poon was finally rescued by Brazilian fishermen near the coast of Brazil. Emaciated and weak, he had lost significant weight, but was otherwise in remarkable condition given his ordeal. Poon Lim's story became legendary. He was awarded the British Empire Medal for his resilience and courage. His survival time -133 days adrift remains one of the longest recorded for a lone survivor in a life raft. To this day, Poon Lim's story serves as a testament to the strength of the human spirit and the ingenuity required to endure the most dire circumstances. His legacy is a beacon of hope and resilience in the face of unimaginable adversity.